one speaks of governance, one is really speaking of the decision-making processes and the manner of service delivery as practiced by governments and their agencies, the corporate world, and civil society organizations. The oft-times referred to and desired good governance is founded on the following elements: transparency, accountability, inclusivity, openness, equity, and ethics, among others. Governance is an integral element for which constitutions provide the basic framework. Constitutions themselves are regarded as the people's contract, which provide the basis for relationships among the people, as well as the manner in which the state, the necessary administrator and regulator of a country's or the people's affairs, is established and exercises bequeathed authority as it administrates the affairs of the people. In so doing, it legislates the architecture for governance. As the people's contract, the Constitution should reflect the interests of the people. However, the extent to which a society may be plural in its composition is the extent to which the Constitution has to reflect and provide for that plurality. In that regard, the architecture of governance provided for in the Constitution should also reflect and provide for that plurality. With specific reference to Guyana, the question is, does the Constitution of Guyana reflect and provide for Guyana's ethnic plurality? If it does not, that suggests that the Constitution needs to be reformed to reflect and provide for that plurality. What is at stake here is that the Constitution, the process through which it is reformed, should both be cognizant of good governance. The process has to be inclusive so that all of the stakeholders become its owners. It has to be accountable so that it imbues confidence. It has to be open so that its inclusivity and accountability are obvious and realized, respectively. It has to be equitable, thus catering for minorities, while being transparent, thus guaranteeing its fairness. These are among the essential prerequisites for a credible reform process. Against that background, I would suggest that we would seek national consensus on the need and purpose for constitutional reform. We must determine a priori, the reason why we should embark on the process, and what mischiefs we would wish the Constitution to address. This process should be research-based and consultative at the level of academia and the political parties and civil society, respectively. An expert group should be empaneled to mediate and, if necessary, arbitrate the process. Thereafter, expert roundtables should be established to brainstorm the specific areas identified for attention. Their conclusions should then become the basis for a countrywide consultative process. An expert group should then massage the outcomes of the roundtables and the consultative process into concrete recommendations for consideration by a stakeholder reform commission. A team of legislative drafters should then be tasked with the drafting of a new or amended constitution as deemed appropriate, which draft should then be subjected to the required approval process. Given the plural nature of the society, the reformed constitution should pay attention to the matter of decision-making and the way in which decision-making bodies are established. The electoral system should be reformed to allow the electorate greater latitude in directly determining the representatives. Legislative system should be reformed to ensure that major decisions are consensual, that is, determined by qualified majority. The President should be a creature of a legislative qualified majority, with the Prime Minister being head of government and the President head of state, but not titular. There should be mechanisms to ensure that constitutional provisions are honored. This is probably one of the major issues to be addressed, as well as the composition of national bodies, which ever so often are but a replica of the National Assembly. Provisions on good governance literally have to be enshrined to ensure that there is adherence to the principles of good governance. Where the executive fails to act in keeping with the constitutional provisions, the President should be empowered to act, and where he fails, the court should be empowered to take action. One other is the need for mechanisms to be developed to ensure that court decisions cannot be flouted by the state. Thank you.